Sometimes the climb isn't about reaching the top. Sometimes it's about noticing who's beside you, who's slipping, and who's quietly reaching back to help you stand.
In today's episode, we're stepping back to look at the path we've been walking together. The moments of acceptance, the hard conversations, the asking for help, and the ways growth happens when we stop pretending we can do it alone.
This is a conversation about parents and kids learning together, about coping versus surviving, about grace for others and for ourselves.
If you're feeling tired, stuck, or somewhere on your own slope right now, this one's for you.
Let's take a breath and keep climbing together. Welcome to Mom and Me Climbing Mountains Together, a podcast about showing up for each other in the messy middle of life. I'm Eleni, and alongside my mom, Ashley, we're sharing our story of navigating mental health, identity, family, and all the ups and downs that come with growing up and parenting at the same time.
We don't have all the answers. What we do have are honest conversations, sometimes heavy, sometimes hopeful, but always real. Our hope is that by climbing these mountains together out loud, you'll feel a little less alone in your own journey.
So, let's take a deep breath, settle in, and let's begin.
Well, hi listeners. I'm going to do my mom disclaimer like I do in every episode here. If you are experiencing a health crisis, you're in need of assistance right away, please call 911. If you are experiencing a mental health crisis and you need someone just to talk to, you're welcome to call or text 988. Please make sure you're taking care of yourself. This episode will be, again, a lot lighter than previous episodes. So we really hope you enjoy it. If you need to pause, if you're triggered anyway, please do so. Come back when you're ready. And we're just glad you're here with us.
So, we are helping each other up the slope.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of a review on the overall points that we've discussed throughout the podcast. It's the ongoing methods of growth and change. And so, regarding that, it's talking about acceptance, accepting yourself, confrontation, asking for help, prioritizing yourself, advocating for not only yourself, but others as well, and reaching out for help and talking through things, and just overall support. So we've mentioned that throughout each episode, especially through finding help along the way. Those dove into more specific examples, but now it's an overall view of resources and self-management.
Yeah. But also connection to others. I think anyone, regardless of what you're gone through or going through, having sort of a filter, a rose-colored glasses view of the world that you even brought it up, I think, in one of the previous episodes, that we don't know what other people are going through.
Yeah.
Teenagers, you don't know how your parents were raised, really. You've only seen them in the time that you've been alive. And, no one's perfect. Everyone is at some point of growth, of
Always.
change, of evolution. And a lot of people are stuck in it, right? And maybe aren't going to get out of it. But by nature, we are growing and changing beings. So I think we've brought this up. We are very lucky that we love each other. Yes, we have love for each other, right? But we also do like each other. We like being around each other.
Yeah.
And we want each other in our lives. now and in the future, but we've overcome and, really had to go through issues where like there's a lot of times you didn't like me, right? Or I didn't like how you're behaving, or, humans, it's relationships, whatever. Everyone's going through something.
Yeah.
But as a parent, just as the person I've become, like even in like management roles at work, right? Where I was supervising others, as someone who was being supervised, but especially again, as a parent, the child should not have more emotional intelligence and awareness than the parent. Statistically, the parent should have gone through enough development and growth and is continuing to go through development and growth so that they can be a mentor. My stomach's growling. Sorry, listeners, if you can hear that. They theoretically should be in a quote unquote position of authority that can help oversee and guide and mentor the children beneath them, blah, blah, blah.
That is not always the case, though.
No. And that's why I want to bring this up, because we all have to realize that we're not perfect. And just because one argument was had and things look bleak and dire, that doesn't mean you can't go back again and try again to have that conversation.
Yeah, things aren't always going to stay the same.
Yeah. And that's the thing with life. Everyone's heard the quotes about, oh, life goes on, right? Well, it really does though, right? The sun is still going to rise tomorrow. The sun is still going to set tomorrow.
Hello, sunshine.
But with the podcast in general that we're dealing with, there are a lot of people who don't want to see the sunrise tomorrow, who don't want to see the sunset because of how much pain they are experiencing. Now, that pain doesn't have to make sense to other people around them. Mm-hmm. Your pain that you dealt with didn't have to make sense to me. Oh, what does she have to be mad about? I've given her everything. That's not the way that I chose to view it. I chose to view it as, holy crap, my kid is going through something so difficult that not only did they not want to be alive, they did something about the pain to end all the pain.
Mm-hmm.
And if you start viewing things like that, it becomes more objective, right? You can take your ego out of it. You can take any hurt of, well, as a parent, I've done everything for them, blah, blah, blah. Or I had it so much worse as a child. They don't even know how lucky they have it. You can take all of those concepts and throw them out the window and say, in this moment right now, my kid needs help. If your kid falls off of the playground structure, the monkey bars, and breaks their arm, and TMI, I'm sorry, the bone's sticking through the skin, are you just going to sit there and be like, oh, like, get back up, try it again, walk it off? No, obviously not. You're going to go take them somewhere where they can get help. Now, yeah, there might be scolding along the way of, I told you not to do that. I told you not to flip backwards around the monkey bar one-handed, right? Yeah.
Whoa.
But it doesn't matter. Your kid's hurting. You're going to take care of them, right?
Mm-hmm. Physical pain is just as important and probably even a little bit less significant as mental health.
But that's why things become physical with mental health, right? Mental health can manifest itself physically. That's like moms who are going out of their mind. Maybe they're a stay-at-home mom going out of their mind, trying to take care of the household, taking care of the kids and all these things. Like they can become sick.
Yeah.
Anyone can do that. You're going through so much in your life and you're stressed out, a lot at work, whatever. Boom, some big parties finally done out of the way. And the next week you're sick for like 2 weeks with a cold.
Yeah, that's actually a reoccurring pattern in our family.
Yeah.
Because we're always on the go, but we're so prone to sickness, even for the amount of times that we've been sick in these few years alone. It's our bodies forcing us to take a break. During my years of struggling really hard, that 8th grade to 9th grade time era, I felt sick a lot. And that was my body pushing me and telling me, you need to stop.
Yeah.
You need to take care of yourself, or else I will take the initiative to make you stop.
Yep.
And my brain did that as well. It was so done with everything. It was so exhausted and drained that it didn't have enough time to fill up because of how, like the water cup, for example, it was so empty. And because of how quickly I was dumping the water, it didn't have enough time to fill up.
Well, and if you're thinking about it in another analogy, the same cup could be that it's too full, right? And you can't hold any more emotions or things to do or clubs or, things like that to deal with. And it's spilling over. So you can look at it both ways. But I also want to go back to kind of what I was saying as the parent though. Because not everyone has had like an exposure like I had with my education and with working experience to mental health. Not everyone's going to know what to do all the time. I had a very recent thing come up with your younger sister where she was struggling with mental health, and she had made a statement that like she said she didn't want to be alive anymore, that the emotions were too big. I had to text my friend and ask for help. And I said, I know what I should do, but I'm frozen right now. What do I do next? And we ended up getting her some help, right? But I did it in a way where I was safeguarding her to be able to just talk about the emotions instead of going through the steps that we did with you, where you had to go to the ER and all that. But it's just, even me knowing what to do and the resources were available because of, recent things with you, fairly recent things, the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I still had, it was total fight or flight. I froze. So I think what I want to say is to help with the parents, right? With that statement I was making of the parents should be in the position to be able to help their kids. Kids and parents, you need to give the parents, you need to give your own selves a break. Teenagers, you need to give your parents a break too, because they are only human and they're not going to always know the right thing to say. They've never parented you in this age before. Families with multiple siblings, every kid's different, and how almost really each kid will grow up in a sort of different household, right? Because time and attention get divided amongst the other kids, right? As more keep popping out.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, parents should be very patient and set egos aside. One, supporting their kids with mental health issues. But I do think that a lot of people need to give the parents slack that they are trying all they can. And I think this is a huge component, I would say underlying theme in everything we're talking about. And it's the final, sum of this episode here where you said we were reviewing things. We're helping each other up the slope. We are helping each other through this. And parents worried about having a position of authority still over their kids can still be humble and learn and grow through the process with their kids and still maintain that role as a parent, where you may not know everything, but you knew enough and you've lived enough to know you had to reach out for help and had to go to other sources.
Yeah. Be willing to be vulnerable, even if it's a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it took me so long to get to that point, but there are so many situations that are worse than what we've gone through.
Yeah.
The attempt at ending your own life, what maybe isn't as bad as what some of the other listeners has gone through, right? But ultimately, if you're in pain, you need to seek help, but your support system that loves you and wants to help, they may not be doing it in a way that you like per se, but figure out a way to graciously and appreciatively be able to thank them, but also suggest something different too. I think that's okay.
Yeah. Be willing to compensate as well.
So through my employment and like work history, I've always done things where I'm learning and taking trainings. Like I've always maxed out trainings everywhere I've worked. And I don't know if it's just like ADHD or if it's a bit of imposter syndrome where I'm like, I need to know, I don't know enough. I don't know what it is, but I'm bringing this up because I do feel like no one should stop learning.
No, we're always evolving.
We should be, right? But even people who kind of refuse to change will see that the life around them, regardless of their grasp on it, is going to change. You know, if families aren't willing to accept that teenagers are becoming adults and independent and living their own life, the change they're going to see potentially could be that child as an adult doesn't have an ongoing relationship with them.
Yeah.
And that's hurtful. And that is not always easy to rectify and change. Now, is it, you know, never too late? I don't know. Maybe not. It's hard to say. But I do feel like accepting, again, I say this again, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but accepting that you are only human and you've never lived your life before and you don't know what's going to happen and you don't have all the answers. I do feel like you should always try to strive to learn more. Here in Duluth, where we live, there's Parks and Recreation has amazing ongoing classes for all ages. There's seniors classes where they're doing personal finance and things like that. You can learn new skills. Being the hockey mom that I am, I was a bit of a sports jock growing up, but I had never played hockey. And here I am, you know, serving at all these boards, and I have kids that are playing hockey and a husband who is a hockey coach and director for, 15 years. I actually only just learned really how to skate like 3 years ago with a group. I'm going to give them a shout out and I'm going to say the name slowly just in case. A group called the Duluth Mother Puckers with a P. I was struggling with myself and feeling like a really bad mom, like all of my choices, you know, dictating your life and how things are going when you're younger. And as you were growing, you know, I was the one responsible for what you were going through. And well, maybe part of that's true. I did connect with these people in this group where there were people who just loved hockey, who wanted to learn in a safe space. And I ended up learning more about just hockey there. I learned that I'm one of many people who are always striving to learn and grow. I'm one of many people who is brave enough to maybe try a new sport or try something different later in life, who's breaking out of boundaries and boxes that have been placed on them for whatever reason. And it was so relieving and even life-saving for me to connect with a group like that, especially with everything we were going through, because it just reminded me that I am human and I am going to make mistakes. But if I make a mistake or I hurt someone, aka my child in some way, I just go and talk to them about it and I apologize. And I try to make a statement of, I know mommy was wrong and I shouldn't have done this. I do apologize. I thought, what is it, Josie? I thought Josie hit the dog or something like that. And I yelled at her right away, and it was Charlie. And I was like, Josie, I am so sorry. Mommy was having a bad day. I really yelled at you pretty hard. I did think it was you. I'm so sorry. Next time, before I react quickly, I'm going to try and just ask what happened first, right? So I think not only helping other people up the slope of life, I think being able to be kind to yourself and help yourself up your own slope is really important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That makes me want to go more into the listeners around my age group.
Yeah.
Regarding to dealing with what you were talking about, coping mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
They're things that everybody can use. Like, for example, your hockey group.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of your coping mechanisms, to go and find like-minded people who could share their emotions and help influence a more positive outlook for you.
Yeah.
There's, on the other hand, there's a difference between coping mechanisms and defense mechanisms.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can be used together, but they should not be mistaken for one another. So coping mechanisms, they're more adaptive. So they're more about switching or reacting to a stressful situation and trying to eliminate or decrease the stress. For defense mechanisms, that can be more negative mechanisms.
Like, I think I talked about this in the episode we were talking about the school environment, the help along the way, where I knew you were struggling in class when you would get mad at me when I'd ask if you had studied for your test.
Yeah, it can be being really defensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it can also lead into substance use.
Yeah.
I know that's a really big problem in the adolescent age group right now. And
I don't think it's right now, but I know what you're talking about.
In general, but it's very common.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for my school, it's pretty regular for the fire alarms to go off because somebody was using a substance in the bathroom and the smoke detectors caught onto it.
Vaping or Yeah.
We've all kind of accepted it, but we know it's wrong. And we do still report it, but sometimes we just let it go because it can be a defense mechanism we don't let it go because of that. We just let it go because we've gotten used to it.
Which is scary, but yes, keep going.
A very unfortunate situation.
Mm-hmm.
It often can be a defense mechanism for those using it.
Yeah.
I know and used to know a lot of people who do use it, and knowing their background and their out of school situations, it is one of the coping mechanisms that they use because it's an escape from the outside world.
Yeah. temporary escape, I should
Yeah,
say.
a temporary escape that only continues harming yourself.
Yeah. Well, and substances really can have a physical impact on your body that will even further your inability to deal with emotions and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, there's been things that are brought up in studies, but a lot of people don't even realize like caffeine, coffee.
That's a drug.
It is a drug.
Yep.
And it's like very popular. It's very
addicting.
accepted. It's very addicting. Like the whole social stigma surrounding coffee and caffeine is let's go have coffee, right? Like it's a socially accepted positive thing. However, like for someone with ADHD like me, if I drink too much caffeine and my body gets addicted to it, I cannot manage my cortisol levels. If I only drink coffee in the morning and I have no water and I don't eat anything in the morning, by 1 p.m., my cortisol, which is the stress chemical, everybody, my cortisol is through the roof, crazy sky high.
Yeah.
And then I'm so exhausted by the time I'm done with work and I get home that maybe I do lash out to, like I was saying, I, had yelled at your sister thinking she hit the dog kind of thing. And I was like, dude, what is wrong with me? Like, I totally could have taken 10 steps back and just been like, hey, like, who hit the dog? Can we not do that? He's a good boy. We need to show him love, right?
Yeah.
But I couldn't because I was so stressed out that day.
Your brain was being blocked by the chemicals from the caffeine.
Yeah. In a sense, yeah. I think I was just so overcome with the cortisol that was building up, but
yeah. Another defense mechanism that is very popular and degrading and not good for us is technology. A lot of people doom scroll, go and just get super engulfed in their phone to escape the real world, where we miss out so much on our actual lives. I saw this TED Talk, and this guy did a study of how many hours of our life is spent. And a lot of it is sleeping, a lot of it is work and school, whatever. But about a third of our lives is taken up by phone use or any technology use. A third of our lives. And that's way more popular now because of how many new updated phones there are. You have a better camera, more battery use.
well, what is the phrase? It's called a dopamine loop. Where the way the videos are, like there's actual science behind this. The Center for Humane Technology was kind of a whistleblower on social media platforms where it literally is addicting you. You're becoming addicted to like seeking the dopamine, and dopamine is kind of like
It's your happy chemical.
It's your happy chemical, right? And so if you're seeking this because you're not finding it elsewhere and you're trapped in this loop, and the algorithms of social media, if listeners aren't aware, like whatever you click on, like your phone, your social media platform will like build on that click. Like the phones, if you set your phone down, it literally is hardwired after X number of seconds or minutes to ping you about some notification that happened like the day before, something, right? Like it's trying to keep you engaged.
So annoying.
So while you have the world, you have a universe of knowledge at your fingertips in the phone, it's literally also built to keep you looking at it and to not be out there living your life and engaging with others.
Yeah.
So it's called the dopamine loop. You all can look it up if you want. And
More money for content creators.
Yeah, but there's, it's not even that. It's about finding balance in your life, right?
Yeah.
It's about if you know that you might have an addiction to screen time, that and maybe an hour or longer before bedtime, you know you have to get off of it because you have insomnia and you're not going to be able to sleep because your brain is hardwired with doom scrolling and the light and all that, right? You know, helping each other up the slope. Like I am probably addicted to my phone. I'm on all the boards that I'm on, always grant writing, always getting new ideas for things. You have even said, Mom, don't you think you should go to bed?
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, like
I don't mean that in a mean
I
way.
could see some parents getting really agitated at their kids for saying that. But again, we have enough of a relationship where I'm like, yeah, I know you're right. And it's okay. It's okay for your kid to be right about behaviors that you should be stopping, right?
I'll even catch myself because ever since I saw that video, I've thought about it every time I go on my phone, especially when we're all together later in the evening. And my siblings will be playing and they'll start talking to you, Dad, or me.
Yeah.
And they'll have to ask more than once because we're distracted. You're laughing, but it's actually
I'm not laughing because
funny.
it's funny. It's a nervous response.
It's actually not funny because I'll catch myself on my phone and I'll be playing this ridiculous game when I have my family right in front of my face. My siblings are begging for human connection. And that can help you as well.
Yep.
That can help regulate your emotions, whether it's a tiny bit or a huge amount.
Well, even sand dropping in a pond can cause ripple effects. So
exactly. Humans are social creatures. We're not meant to be stuck on a phone watching other people interact. We're supposed to be interacting with others. We're hardwired to do
Tom Hanks even befriended a volleyball in Castaway. That might be way over your head age-wise, but to the parents listening, you've seen Castaway. Tom Hanks befriended a volleyball. So if you know your kids are self-isolating in their room and stuck on their phones and things like that, chances are they're probably not socializing in the most healthy way. Get them out of the room. Go outside into nature. Take your shoes off. Walk around in the grass.
Literally go touch some grass. Get off of your screen. Get out of your room and go touch some grass or touch a plant if you don't have any grass around. You see a weed in the concrete cracks, go touch that. That's still great.
But to wrap it all up, we're all learning and growing. We all want and love the people that we care about in our lives, and we want to interact with them. And that means having to go through bad just as much as good.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't know how good things are if there were no bad. So, you know, if you're hurting and you're really struggling through this and feeling like you don't have anyone in your life you can connect with, you just haven't found them yet. And I am sorry if you're exhausted of searching. I wish I could do more to help you specifically. If you know, if that listener, if this is really resonating with you, but just know there is someone out there. It may not be in the same places you've always been looking. It could be a completely unexpected door you are going to knock on and you never know what's going to open up and happen for you. You know, you just got to step through that door and try and take a chance. But ending your life because of the pain it's eliminating all possibilities of hope and all possibilities of you finding that person. And I know it might technically cut away the pain that you're feeling, but you will be very missed.
Yeah. Try and find positive ways to deal with it. I know it might be a little bit redundant, but the coping mechanisms. Find positive ways to deal with your pain.
Well, just like you came across this podcast that didn't exist before, the last 6 months
Yeah.
wasn't, this is a concept that we've been working on for the last year, but we didn't exist before this last year, right? Like this is something new. So maybe take that as a sign of hope that literally so many mountains can be moved and conquered in a year. And your life could be completely different than anything you would expect in so many amazing ways. So just don't lose hope and keep trying.
Just keep swimming. Dory. Whatever year Finding Nemo came out.
Yeah.
Or Finding Dory, whichever one.
It's a good one. All right, everybody. You're loved. Thanks for being here. We'll chat with you next time.
Peace out. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for climbing this part of the mountain with us. These conversations aren't easy, but they matter. And we're grateful you're here, listening and walking alongside us.
If today's episode stirred something in you, take a moment to sit with it. Journal about it. Share it with someone you trust. And if you're struggling, please remember you don't have to carry it alone. In the US, you can dial or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline anytime you need.
Thank you to the Anne Bancroft Foundation for fulfilling dreams with their grants to girls like me, to my incredible mentor, Jeba Edmonds, for the never-ending encouragement and kindness along the way, and to Asher Carlson, owner of the Duluth Creative Co., who helped bring our vision to life. You never know who you'll meet along the way. We'll meet you here again soon with more stories that remind us none of us climb alone. Until then, hold on to hope, take the next step, and keep climbing.